during the weekends or into Monday, I will often hang out with my guy Nick Angstadt of Locked On Mavs.
Great guy.
And the show that we did this weekend, he asked this question, which was, what do you need to see, or what do you want to see from the Mavs in the last month of the season?
Okay.
And so 877-881-1053, what are your takeaways? I thought it was a good question, and so I figured I'd ask you, Blake, to get some of your opinions as well. For me, one of the things that came up first was I want to see this team close small, or close big, rather.
Yep.
Right? We've seen, especially after the trade deadline, we saw Jason Kidd's infatuation with Maxi Kleber really show in a particular way, and I get it, right? Like the opportunity to close small with Maxi Kleber gives you an idea of maybe being able to close with like 5-out lineups where you can shoot or whatever. But offense is something that it feels like the Mavs are taking care of, especially in closing situations. That's why you have two superstar players that both operate like closers, right? The offense, finding offense in those moments doesn't feel like what is necessary. What I really need you to do is have the size, especially defensively, and then also for rebounding purposes, those types of things. I need you to have that size late. And it felt like, I know that some of this there was a lot of people that worried, or maybe not worried, but, had some concerns when it's like, look, man, hey, you have two bigs that have a certain amount of size, and we thought that was so that you could now have most of your minutes covered with some size, and now you're taking some of the most important minutes, your closing minutes, and going small with them. And then Maxi Kleber, funny enough, has not even really shot particularly well this year, even if he has somewhat of that reputation, and maybe you'll still get some of that pull out of defense.
His scoring has not been great like the last month. Like, I don't remember the exact stat, but it was definitely like over a 5 or 6 game span, he had like 10 points or something. So he wasn't contributing a lot as far as putting the ball in the basket. The thing that I want to see the most is PJ Washington. I don't want to say continue to be aggressive, because it feels like he turns it on and off. I just want to see PJ Washington be that aggressor, because I feel like when he is that third playmaker / scorer, it really opens up the offense. When teams have to respect the kick out to PJ and send someone out to him, you are now allowing, in a sense, kind of Kyrie to be one-on-one, or nobody's guarding him and that guy collapses. So kind of that formula being more prominent and not being on a game-to-game basis, seeing PJ like the couple games where he comes out and he hits a couple early threes. You see how it changes the dynamic of how they guard the Mavs. Now you can't just blitz Luka at half and leave PJ wide open on the wing for a three, or PJ's cutting and he's finding people and he's got his head in the game. So for me, it's every time I'm watching the Mavs, I'm like, okay, what is PJ doing? Does he look aggressive? It was a similar thing of what I did a year ago with Josh Green, where I was just like, this third guy, how aggressive is he going to be? Because that's going to dictate how well probably the game flow goes. Luka and Kyrie are usually going to get theirs, bar none. They're not going to matter. They're usually going to get whatever they want to get. But how the game flow will go usually is how that, in my opinion, that third playmaker / scorer is doing, and how much other teams respect him. Are they having to step up? Are they having to swing over and be aggressive and really close out on his shot or close out on his drive and commit another guy to him where the dunker spot is open for Lively to catch a lob, or Kyrie's able to get in that window corner shot and knock down an easy three, or Exum's able to backdoor, Jones able to backdoor, and like all those things start to open up when PJ Washington is aggressive. If you only have two guys aggressive, you can blitz Luka, help over on Kyrie, and really just make all the rest of the guys have to make tough shots or be timid and pass the ball right back to them, because we see that a lot. Luka and Kyrie will get the ball up because they get blitzed or doubled, and these guys will kind of be automatically looking to get the ball right back to them. They take 1 or 2 dribbles, it's not open, and they're kind of retreating back to kind of hand the ball off, and teams, the really good teams, recognize that and play you differently. So for me, it's PJ Washington continuing to be aggressive. And then I thought you made a great point about the center lineups and seeing Lively and Gafford continue to get those minutes and see if they can get critical minutes down the end of the game towards the fourth quarter.
I will ask you, as it relates to the PJ Washington of this all, seeing him be aggressive, I hear you on that.
Yep.
Would you go as far as to maybe run some sets for him?
Yes. And it doesn't have to necessarily be sets where it's, hey, I need you to score the ball. Because a lot of times with these sets, it'll just show when a team is game planning, hey, we're running a double drag for this guy. We're running some DHO for him, and we're trying to get him open. It just makes you respect that player more within the game plan. Otherwise, it's going to be wide open, because that is like you said, the set for him to score. And it might open up other guys. I think a lot of times we see PJ catch it in transition and shoot it, or kind of off a loose ball and kind of go up. I would like to see, and I don't think it needs to be the focal point of the offense, but I would like to see that every once in a while, some sets ran for PJ and just get more involved in the offense and feel like, hey, I can take this shot. I'm confident. I'm part of this offense, not just an extension of them, which at the end of the day, you all are kind of an extension of Luka, but I want PJ to feel like I can take this big shot and take care of the team when Luka's either off the court or does not have the ball in his hand.
Yeah, it felt like you were there with the interview with Michael Finley on Sunday, and it felt like one of the things that Finn was talking about was the ways that the guys that he got maybe operated less like extensions of Luka and maybe had their own opportunities to create some things. And so, yeah, I feel you in that regard. On the truckwreck.com text line, there's two of them that kind of fold in similarly. One of them from the 817, they said continue to see Gafford in the starting lineup, and they need to see Kyrie pick it up just a tiny bit. And then also in that same way, another 817, or actually same 817 says they want to see Kai and Luka, that duo that you saw after the All-Star break, seeing them really put
they were lighting it up. It was like 30, 35 a game from both of them. Like neither of them could miss. I would agree. Kai's been a little not as explosive as we're used to. Now tell me this, do you think it's more of just the tough shot maker that we credit to him and you're not going to make some, or have you seen an aggression pullback as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've talked with you a lot about this a lot. It feels like Kyrie's diet of shots, there's a lot of difficult shots in there. And so when they're not going, it's just like, yo, those are difficult shots. When they are going, yo, this is crazy. He is knocking down difficult shots. But when they're not going, it's like, this doesn't feel sustainable. Let me ask you a question. I know you asked me a question, but also, does it feel like Kai at times feels less like tapped into the offense? He feels almost like a mercenary where it's like, get him the ball and then let him go do things as opposed to feeling as a part of an offense.
We're on the same page, because I was going to say, when I watch the Mavs games, and tell me if I'm wrong, it feels like Kyrie will go through these blips where it's like, not like me, like I'm ball hawking, but like I can get us a bucket for like 3 minutes straight. And then he'll go 7 minutes where you forget he's on the court.
And I feel like obviously there needs to be some level of give and take in making sure that the ball moves around. It just feels like, I don't know, and I need to maybe focus in on this to see why I get that sense. But it does feel like it's more mercenary. Like, all right, now Kai, go.
Yeah.
Like, unleash him, and then, all right, cool, pull back. Now we'll just go back into the
regular
offense.
I don't want the full pullback. I want it to be you're cutting to the rim.
Right,
you're doing
part
this.
of it all.
When you see them, we saw it a couple of times with Kyrie and Luka setting screens for each other. And, like, when Kyrie's pick and popping, you got to respect that. Luka can throw it behind his back, over his head, and kick it to Kyrie. And if you don't double, Luka's going one-on-one versus someone who's getting screened towards the basket. It's pretty much an automatic bucket. So I would love to see that combo getting back into fruition. I think it's fine. I'm not like worried about it. It's just something we haven't seen as aggressive recently. With obviously Luka's been putting up historic numbers, so we're not like alarmed by it. But no. I think when Kyrie starts stepping up that where he was right after that All-Star break, then you'll kind of see this team lighten up the scoreboard again.
From the 2-4, just generally, it seems like they say they want to see the Mavs get the lineups in the rotation set. And I don't even know when that'll be. That feels like a end of the season. You'll just get a feel for what works best.
Last week, he got asked this question. He said there was 21 games left. He said about halfway through that mark, we will know the like playoff rotation, kind of what the rotation is. So we're getting close to that. And Jaden Hardy, I mean, I'm going to keep beating the drum. I mean, every time he comes in, I know it might be in garbage time, and it is what it is. I can only take the sample size I'm being provided with. He seems like a pretty good volume scorer. Seems like he knows how to dribble. It seems like he's gotten this kind of stuff under tame. So I wonder if he's going to get more minutes going forward, or if he's going to stay in purgatory and get his 3-4 minutes a game.
You know which of those is more likely. You know exactly which one of those are more likely. And if you're watching, you saw my face. You know exactly which one I think is more likely.
Did Dwight Powell score the other day? That's what I really care about.
Oh, no, it's not.
He didn't score.
You know that's not what you care about in this instance. From the 2-4, they say, as I asked, what do you want to see from the Mavs in this last month of the season? The 2-4 says they'd like to see the team beat quality opponents, treat games like playoff games starting now, and hopefully gain some ground in the standings. I think the gaining the ground in the standings is probably likely when you look at the ways that the schedule pans out for you. It's a relatively easy schedule when you look at the opponent's win percentage that they have to go up against.
Playing a Steph-less Warriors soon too.
That's exactly right. Tomorrow evening you'll be playing against the Warriors, and Steph has already been ruled out for that contest, which obviously makes it a lot more likely that you get a win wherever you believe to the likelihood before that news. But then also the idea of beating some quality opponents, I don't know that there's a ton of them available to you, but yeah, that would be really helpful, showing that you have the capability of putting all of the things together necessary to beat the quality opponents. And I think the playoff game leads me to one of the ones that I mentioned again on Locked On Mavs, which is, hey man, lock the F in on defense.
Yep.
And I say it like that very particularly, right? One of the things that myself and you, when we're sitting in here watching these games during the course of these broadcasts here on the Get Right, I always point out, there's weak side, right? Like there's the weak side falling asleep. There's someone who is they're not playing like they're on a string. They're not playing together. And I just need you to, with the understanding, and we've had so many conversations, and I know a lot of people will get on the truckwreck.com text line and be like, you're not going to be able to be great at defense with Luka and Kyrie or whatever. And I acknowledge that pretty much every time we talk about it.
No one's saying they need to be the number one rated defensive team.
But be the best you that you can be is what I would like. And that starts with, at the very least, give me that focus and attention on defense.
And we hear it every press conference. That's what they all say.
Exactly. If you give me that and you have a lapse on defense, it'd be like that sometimes. Yeah. I'm willing to take that. But at this point in the season in particular, is to try and see what you want to do in the postseason, understanding that your roster's not going to change and all those things. That's how you get the best out of this team, is everybody lock in, everybody play the defensive principles that need to be played to the best of your ability. And I don't want to accept anything less than that, because I'm really personally tired of seeing really good teams, and the good teams are capable of doing this, seeing those weaknesses and attacking them, make those weaknesses a little bit more difficult to attack.
I completely agree. And my last point here is what they did against the Bulls. I want that to be what you do against bad teams. Put them away early. 44-16 in the first. Like, assert your dominance that we are the better team. My star player is going to sit most of the second quarter. I know he came back in later and try to get some shots up. I'm aware. But in general, put these bad teams away early and don't let them think they have a chance. The Pistons, they should not be in the game at any point. Now, this is still an NBA team, and I get it. They get up and down. They rebound well. But you, as a quote-unquote contender that you say you want to be, you got to put these teams away early. You see the Celtics. I mean, they blow out most of the time these bad teams by 30 before it's even halftime. They're up by 30. We're just better. And then the good teams, play them close till half. We know they're a great fourth quarter team. I think they showed the stat the other night. They're 28-3 after leading going into the fourth, like after the third ends. They're a great fourth quarter team. They either get blown out, they're already getting blown out, or it's close and they win, or they keep the lead and they end up winning. So I just think taking care of these bottom teams and not having it be any problem where you're having to play your star players late in the game, and then we'll have to see what they can do against these playoff contending teams.